Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mobix channel. A good way to support this channel is to hit that subscribe and like button. On this channel, we like talking about cryptocurrencies that are achieving real world use cases or that are on that journey. And actually, one cryptocurrency that I don't talk about a lot on this channel, and maybe I should start, but there's already a ton of content out there, is XRP, regardless of what you think of it. Ethereum has already done what it does, but it has some issues. Anyway, today we're talking about Mobix, the Mobix token. For the about XRP is that no, they have the whole on-demand liquidity. I've actually made tokens. I've actually also done a video where I can show you how you can mint your own tokens on the XRP ledger, and that ability to use on-demand liquidity to move currencies from one point to another and literally create that interoperability within fiat currencies and also assets and real estate and other things. I think there is a huge demand that will come onto the XRP ledger and that ecosystem, especially after the lawsuit with the SEC, which we all don't know what it's all about. After that is done, I think it will be in the clear. So today I want to talk about Mobix. So in case you do not know about Mobix, I've done a video about this ecosystem, this company. The people behind Mobix are Datarella. The company is called Datarella, and I think the CEO is called Micromobility. So in short, I've done a video about it, a detailed video, but in short, what they're doing is micromobility. So finding a way of reducing the carbon footprint by incentivizing people that use micromobility, like infrastructure, like scooters, reducing your carbon footprint by, parking far from where you work, so reducing how much you drive. So essentially using scooters, using small automobile devices that are preferably electric, and also walking a lot, so you get incentivized by how much you reduce your carbon footprint. And they're also focusing on data sovereignty, GDPR laws, and creating self-sovereign identity. What that means is essentially being a user that has their identity on a decentralized system, and that user controls that identity. So if you want to log into Google, Facebook, or you want to log into some site or device out there, you don't need to put your username and password, but you have this identity that you use, and we're going to look into that. So they released this article here about what their plan is. But before we go in, there's some important things you need to note about Mobix. And let's start from, I've already talked about the self-sovereign identity, which is a very core component of their purpose and what they're trying to do. They're going ahead to also develop the wallet that they use to supply the Mobix tokens for the people that are being incentivized, the people that are using their decentralized product. So they're developing a wallet that's specifically designed to fit into data identity and decentralized identities as well. So it's a company that's really capturing a very sensitive part and a portion of this is very Eurocentric, but I think it's something that will spread out into the rest of the world, at least nations that are chasing after that democratic narrative, at least data protection and generally protecting the rights of the people. So if you dig deeper into Mobix, you learn that they've partnered with a couple of people like Datarella, which I've talked about, the company which is actually the driving force behind it. Fetch.AI, which is the purpose of Fetch.AI is essentially, you see, if you see here, autonomous economic agents. These are autonomous ecosystems or autonomous agents that can be self-programmed. I've done so many videos about this. So they work autonomously and in a dynamic environment to make independent decisions, autonomous decisions on behalf of their owners. The owners could be a machine, could be an individual, it could be a company. So the Mobix team is utilizing these autonomous economic agents in their product, and they've mentioned how they're doing that in their report at a high level. And then we've talked about the self-sovereign identity, which is a core component of their use case, and the Mobix digital reward token. And in their recent article, they actually talk about the supply, which is 100 million maximum tokens that will exist. And if you've been aware, or if you're not aware, if you have the Fetch.AI tokens, which are called the FET tokens, which is one of the partners of Mobix, If you look here, there's the Fetch.AI, Ray, I think Real Estate, What Grand AG, Hammer AG, and Atomix. Atomix is another lending platform. I did a video about that yesterday. You can check the link in the description. It's also a massive ecosystem that's coming up that's also built by the Fetch.AI team. So that's essentially it about that. But going back to Fetch.AI, they're building a whole ecosystem and they're utilizing the Cosmos blockchain. So these autonomous economic agents they're on top of the Fetch.AI ecosystem, and they utilize the speed and the interoperability brought by, say, the Cosmos Hub and the Cosmos consensus algorithms like Tendermint. So this Mobix team and ecosystem is utilizing projects that are supposed to help it achieve its goal in a very sensitive way, in a very meaningful way, especially the Fetch agents. There are the autonomous economic agents. They're also autonomous. They are privacy sensitive. In other words, the users control their private and public keys. So if you have sovereign ownership of that device, of that agent, and no one can control it except you can terminate it if you want. You can tell it or program it to do whatever you want, communicate with the company, make an order for you, initiate a delivery for you. So these are the type of partners that these people have. Now, if you dig deeper into Mobix, you realize that the platform that they're using for their data sovereignty, their self-sovereign wallet as well, self-sovereign identity, they're using this blockchain called Sovereign. So you can see on the webpage, they say control your digital identity, personally manage your digital IDs online with the Sovereign Network, an open source project creating a global public utility for self-sovereign identity. And they're also using another, I don't know if they're using them or just partnered with them. It's also called Uport, and I can see Uport split into another portion which is called Veramo. Now the purpose of Veramo, you can see Uport's open source evolution. So if you want to find out more, you can find out more about these partnerships. And of course, Datarella, the company behind Mobix, has published, if you want more details about self-sovereign identity and understanding its impact and how it's influencing basically the cultural change about how people understand data, especially in the European ecosystem, because respect for people's rights and data rights is something that's, I think, predominantly there, and hopefully with time it will disseminate into the rest of the world. So they've published some documents, especially some details about how the data identity, the decentralized identifiers will look like. So you can see the decentralized identifier, for example, here, and then they explain this SOV and then the method specific identifier. So you have individuals, machines, or whatever else that can have an ID on it. You can be able to identify it in an open source nature, and this identity is specific to that particular entity. Of course, that's enabled by decentralization and the consensus algorithms that are underlying in these blockchain ecosystems. So of course, when you go to the Mobix website, you can find out more details about it. But then what's of course interesting is that Fetch.AI, Mobix, if you heard of also Ocean Protocol, they are a part of massive ecosystems. For instance, they're a part of this company called Gaia X, and you can see Gaia X here, which is Gaia X for Future Mobility Clusters Project Move ID. So these are huge companies with partners such as Bosch, VW, BMW, Denso, Conti, Daimler, and then Fetch.AI is in there, Ocean Protocol is in there, this blockchain which is about creating a data marketplace as well, Datarella, 51 nodes, Chainstep, others, IOTA, then Masternode, and so many other companies. There's Mobi as well. So there's this consortium of these organizations, of these groups of organizations that they want to really capture the data scene to allow for more efficient mobility in the future of Europe, and hopefully that disseminates to the rest of the world as well. If there is an area that's willing to show us as an example of actual practical use case of decentralization, and if this actually works and it's useful and it's needed and it really helps people to simplify their lives to better protect what they have, better protect rights, properties, and provide that liberty that is necessary for a free human being, then I guess it's very good to see such examples. And of course, Mobi, which you've seen, which is one of the partners in Gaia X, is a huge ecosystem, and you can see their community. All these companies, including Fetch.AI, BMW, and Continental, so many companies, Honda, Ocean Protocol, R3 Quarter. There's a ton of huge conglomerates onto here that are, so all these ecosystems are aware of themselves. And there's also Katina X, which is another consortium specifically for the automotive industry. So you find that all the players in there are from the automotive industry, and you find that there is this net of these companies that have a common interest, that are linking up through these companies, Gaia X, they're linking up through Katina X and Mobi, and then they're partnering with the best decentralized technology companies out there, especially in Europe, because they have a common goal of achieving something that is of a common interest to not only the public but also the governments out there. So Mobix released their document, and you can go look at it to have more details about what it is. But to summarize what it's about, essentially they talk about how there's going to be 100 million tokens. And yeah, what I forgot to mention before is that if you have Fetch tokens, you can actually stake them onto the Fetch mainnet make sure you do that by the 15th of July, and then you'll be airdropped the Mobix tokens. I've covered that in the video that I did about Mobix, so that's something you might want to look into. So even if these are very Eurocentric products and ecosystems, anyone can really participate, especially because of decentralization and open networks that are out there. Now, if you're in possession of the Mobix token, or if you can have access to the wallet that Mobix is trying to develop, then you can truly participate in this eco-friendly ecosystem because of the advantages that these decentralized technologies are bringing to us and to the whole world. Essentially what this document is talking about is, reducing the carbon footprint by using mini electric vehicles. And here they have a summary. So you're a Mobix user, you have your wallet on your phone. So your phone tracks your movement, the devices you've been using, because you can also interact with the devices if they're connected to the Mobix system, so you can know what you've been using and how eco-friendly these devices are, how much you've been walking, and all this data that is being collected in a decentralized manner is then sent to the Mobix reward agent, which is running on the Fetch.AI mainnet. And this agent then calculates and makes those autonomous decisions on your behalf to register your address, your miles, your data, and then tops up the Mobix tokens and rewards you with these tokens. So it creates this reward cycle that incentivizes people to act in such a way that is good for the whole environment, the whole globe, and humanity as a whole. So essentially, that's what this document is about. Of course, if you want more details, and here you can see the addresses, they're Fetch-centric addresses. So if you want more details in this document about, the security of the tokens, like some methods, there'll be a limited number of tokens that will be issued, I guess, per block, or how blockchains work. They could be per block or per certain time frame. So even if there's a bad player that's trying to game the system, there's only a limited amount of tokens that they can game. They can't deplete the whole system of those tokens. So efficiency, flexibility, and they talk about some of the downfalls of Bitcoin, or some of the disadvantages of Bitcoin with high electricity bills and all that, the stuff that everyone talks about. So I think that pretty much summarizes what this document is about, essentially what the core purpose of Mobix is and what they want to achieve. And I think it's a beautiful thing, and the fact that even if no matter where you are in the world, you can still participate in this ecosystem, that those are the things that incentivize us to look out for these things, even if they might not be in our immediate geographical or location or jurisdiction. There's that interest, there's that thing that unifies everyone to keep an eye on these things, because they're providing real use cases, and anything that's successful, any decentralized technology that's successful within the cryptocurrency space means success for the whole cryptocurrency space as a whole, because it sets a good example for other cryptocurrency projects and generally creates that narrative, that notion that it's very possible to create real world use cases and merge the real world to the virtual world using these decentralized technologies. So guys, thanks for watching. I just wanted to do a short rundown of Mobix and their recent release, and all I can say is that we're all very excited to see how this will continue to evolve, and we wish them all the best, and we're there and ready and willing to participate in the products that are being brought forward. Guys, take care, have a good one.